this meeting to order. Shelby County Board of Supervisors regular meeting, Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. Any conflicts, gentlemen?
None.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Charlie? Second. Charlie, all in favor? Aye. Consider approval of minutes from March 18th. Any changes to here?
No changes.
Motion approved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
The last one.
I did first.
The agenda.
And I second it.
Okay, thank you.
Charlie?
Yep.
Okay.
Sherry was carrying.
Claims. Any claims, you guys have a chance to look them over?
I didn't see anything. True suspicions.
Motion to approve the claims.
So moved. Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Steve Kenkel, are you here?
He's out there.
Gonna be.
Steve.
Take the discussion down the hall.
Hey guys, can you move your discussion down the hall? Thank you. Steve here?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's sitting out there.
He's getting John at.
He's tied up.
He's getting an earful. I think they're
we're waiting on Steve. We're waiting on Steve.
No, we're gonna wait for Steve.
Once he gets talking, it's hard to.
Gooch can put some background music on for
I guess we can skip him.
Yeah, we can skip.
Let's skip him. Chris, you want to come up and do yours and you can keep talking? Oh, you're good, okay, all right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
I thought I'd have to bring my crowbar or something.
I got summons.
Yeah.
Pipeline update. Just a little recap. I'm going to start from the past month. As you know, Summit kind of got stalled in South Dakota. First of all, South Dakota passed no eminent domain for CO2 pipelines. Then, about a week later, Summit went and pulled their permit from South Dakota, which is a big deal. They can still build a pipeline to South Dakota if they want, but it has to be all voluntary easement. Well, in order for them to start construction in Iowa, there's a caveat that they have to get a permit up there. So that permit process up there takes about a year. So if everything went well for them, we're looking at least a year before they could start anything here, and that's if they started it today, and they're not going to. They have the sequester site already approved up in North Dakota, and that has 2 lawsuits against it. They don't know how to get there, so they're going to have to go through Minnesota, which is a possibility, but that's all voluntary easements, or through Nebraska, and then through Wyoming to get up there. So a lot of questions.
Might be more than a year then.
Looks that way. They spend over $1.1 billion already.
Wow.
So last week I sent you guys an update. House File 943 in the House bans eminent domain, the same as South Dakota, for CO2 pipelines on ag land. Now it's in the Senate, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And that got approved by like 82%. It's huge. 2 years ago, the House said, I don't think we get past something like this. I don't think we get 50%. We can see how things have changed. House File 639 was a combination of about 5 other bills all related to pipelines, and in regards to insurance liability coverage for landowners, permit renewal timelines, addressing the IUC membership participation, because they weren't as a majority, going to public hearings and participating, and the House really got on them for that. And then defining a common carrier for the pipeline, because if you don't define the common carrier and prove you're a common carrier, you can't get eminent domain authority. Representative Steve Holt, he was the floor leader on both these bills. Folks, he's a strong advocate for our county, for the landowners, really for everybody in Iowa. He's a lot he stands for the Constitution and what our property rights are. So really appreciate him and what he all does. Again, both bills carried approval of over 80%, which is
Unheard of.
beyond majority. And one was 82, one was 85. Also, last year there was an Iowa poll for do people want eminent domain for CO2 pipelines, and 80% said no. So they're right there. So now we're up to the Senate. And this is going to be a true test for our Senate. Because the last 2 years, they said, well, we didn't have the votes, and they always had excuses, and no CO2 bill went before the Senate, not even to get debated or voted on. They didn't even bring it there. So with this huge support out there, and with constitutional property rights, and it's even in the Republican Party's platform that you protect property rights. And so we're going to see which rumor out there is true. Are they going to support what they say they do, or are they influenced by Summit? It's in Commerce Committee, and Mike Buzalo, who chairs that committee, is a past employee at Summit, and he's been holding those bills up. So we're going to see which one comes true here.
Is it in the Democrats' platform or Republicans' platform?
Republican.
Republican, okay.
Yep, and Republicans have majority, House, Senate, and the governor. So, like I said, this next couple weeks is really going to tell the story. That's all I have for now. You guys have questions or concerns?
Appreciate your update as they happen, and again for coming in here and doing those, because I know you've been
Yep.
many trips to Des Moines. And
Whenever that bill comes before the Commerce to debate, hopefully it does. I won't know why it won't. I'll plan on being there. I'll give you guys an update as we go. So a lot of moving parts here this next couple weeks. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You bet.
And if my schedule works, you've got an open seat in the car. I'll go with you on the
Okay.
next one.
Remember, when you go, it's not an hour or two.
Oh, I know. Well, that's why I didn't go this last one.
Chris, come on up. Secondary road report.
Good morning.
Chris.
Morning.
Hey, Chris,
It's not snowing today.
No.
that's a good thing,
Yeah.
eh?
No blizzards in the forecast?
I hope not.
Any
It was
different?
trying a little yesterday.
I know. Still early, I
I was
guess.
thinking of you.
I know. I'm glad I forgot. Just a couple of quick things. Let's take care of the bullet points here first. Consider approval for Solid Waste Agency to appoint Jarvis Maganja to the Solid Waste Board. With the resignation of Harlan City Administrator Gene Geddes last fall, we appointed an interim member to the Solid Waste Board, Jay Christensen, and Jarvis was installed as the new Harlan City Administrator, and he said he would welcome being on that board as well. I think it's a nice tie. Kind of talked about this before, but a nice tie between the solid waste and the City of Harlan. So there needs to be one representative out of the City of Harlan on that board. It just seems to be a good fit. So Jarvis has agreed to take on that position. We had a solid waste board meeting last week. Jay Christensen tendered his resignation, and the solid waste board accepted that and approved placing Jarvis on the board in that position. So what I need from you is just a supervisor's approval to make that official, to
Make
place
that motion.
Jarvis Maganja on the solid waste board.
Motion to approve Jarvis Maganja to the Solid Waste Board.
I made that motion.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Congratulations, Jarvis.
Thank you. Consider approval of Mid-American right-of-way permits. What these are, there's 3 separate right-of-way permits from Mid-American Energy. They are putting in a fiber line to tie their substations together. So this will start in the northern part of Shelby County, and I believe the far southern substation is the one west of Harlan. But anyway, I would recommend approval for those. I have the bond and the proof of insurance.
I'll make a motion to approve those permits.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you. And a few other quick updates. Our direct-to-road rock haul should be going as we speak. Today will be the first day of that. We're looking to do roughly 38 miles. Just depends what everything takes as far as rock to get everything done. Those miles are scattered throughout the county. So everybody should see a little something from the direct haul. We are going to try and pull in some of the shoulders again at the same time. So anyone who's experienced this before knows that the roads will be a little tender for a while. We're not going to try and bring in a lot with this. Just a little bit to rebuild the crown, get the water off the road. It's a good time to do it. So we're starting on that.
And that direct haul program is one of those things we talked about during the budget hearing. It's more efficient,
Yes,
less expense, hauling it twice.
it saves that extra
It's
haul.
one of those things we're trying to.
It's nice to put the rock directly on the road, and that's where it belongs, and that's
Save
where it
$3
ends up.
here and $2 there.
Right, and if we can find some miles that the entire mile's needed or the majority needs it, I like it. You cover the whole thing, it makes a better road, and we might end up with one or two light spots to dress up, but we're not continually going back and trying to fill in. So it seems to work better, so we'll start on that, go till we get that done, see how the weather cooperates with us. We are also hauling rock out of our stockpiles yet with our own forces, trying to touch up in other areas as we need it. So to tie in with that, the maintainers are out pulling the rock back off of the edge of the road or next to the shoulder, shaping and pulling them back into the center of the road. So at this time of the year, we do get a little bit of grass and clumps coming in. It's just part of the deal. So we try not to get too crazy and get too much, but citizens might notice a little of that. Other than that, the excavator and the bridge crews, they are out getting their work zones ready for the spring. The one excavator is out, the other one is placed. Excuse me. So hopefully by the end of the week, everybody is out riding. We'll just see what the weather does tonight, how much rain we get, if we can go or if it gets too much. But after that, weather looks better, so hopefully we can start being more productive for the season.
Staff?
We are looking for a truck driver 1A at the moment,
Okay.
so we are down one.
Okay.
Other than that,
Not too bad.
Yeah.
if the snow's over, we'll be okay. When it snows and everybody's out, that's when we are at our most thin. So, yep.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Todd Boleen.
Good morning, everyone. Todd. Not too long ago, I was here.
Yeah, that's true. Just some items to note for your calendar, and then I'll give you an update on one kind of a new committee that I'm a part of. For the general public, we need table decorators for the Fun China Luncheon. So just as a reminder of what that is. That's a celebration on April 23rd at the Golf and Country Club. It's our Administrative Assistance Day. And so what we do is we have clubs, nonprofits, and businesses decorate the tables in any theme they want to decorate the tables. And then when the folks are eating, they will look at the tables and they will vote on the best table. And then we have a wonderful traveling trophy that you get to display for the year for being the winner. So again, anybody out there who's interested, just give us a call at 755-2114. If you don't look out the window, it's opening day at the Shelby County Golf Club. So even though right now maybe the weather's not going to cooperate with folks getting out on the course, really encourage everyone to go out and check out the new clubhouse. They've done a fantastic job.
It's nice.
And go out and visit it. Meet the new management staff out there that's handling the course this year, and talk to them about their different options, both for hosting events as well as for golf options out there. We do have a ribbon cutting on Friday. The Community First Credit Union is going to have an open house all day from 8:30 to 4:30. And at 10 a.m. we will be having a ribbon cutting with them to celebrate their open house and officially welcome them to the community. Also, next week is National Library Week. It runs April 6th through the 12th. And their theme this year is for a richer, fuller life you need to read. And so all of our libraries have a lot of activities set up for that week. In regards to the chamber, on Monday at 10 o'clock, we'll be in Harlan at that library to celebrate National Library Week with them. On Tuesday at 1, we'll be at the Elkhorn Library. And then on Wednesday, the 9th, we'll be there at 11 o'clock at the Lyde Irwin Public Library. So we'll be celebrating with all of them, and invite everybody to take a look at their websites and Facebook pages, because they got a lot of really fun activities scheduled for that week. We do have our Dad's Belgian Waffles Brunch and Silent Auction coming up on April 13th from 9 to noon. Now that's for the Shelby County Trail. It's one of our fundraisers to continue to build out the trail. This year we're going to have something a little different. In addition to the breakfast, which is a free will donation, we started about 8 weeks ago with a junk to treasure team competition. So we had teams sign up. We had a lot of junk up in Panama out in front of the Bent Rim Brewery. People came and picked their pieces of junk that they wanted. They've been working on their art pieces ever since. And so as part of our auction on the 13th, all of those art pieces will be there for people to bid on. And whichever art piece sells for the highest amount will win a prize. So
Some great yard art there, and I know it's on Facebook. You can see the pieces that will be
Yeah.
available.
yeah,
And they're going to make it available to bid on with that. If you can't make it to the breakfast, is that right? They're still working on that?
they're still working on how, but yeah, they want to be able to take like online bids too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, just because of the current legislative session, we don't do this very often, but we will actually have a legislative coffee in April. It'll be April 19th at 10 o'clock, and we'll host it out at the Shelby County Chamber. And just to get a reminder to communities and organizations, because we got our first one, Saturday, April 19th, Portsmouth is having an Easter egg hunt, and they're putting out 2,000 eggs and prizes for kids. So it's for,
expensive.
I know. So it's for kids 0 to 9. It's sponsored by the City of Portsmouth and the Portsmouth Business Association. So want to make people aware of that, and also remind the other communities, if you're planning Easter egg hunts, get that information to us so we can get it up on the calendar. Finally, over the last, well, it's actually been a couple of years, but we're finally getting some momentum going. We had formed a group called the HMS Hub, and that's Harrison, Winona, and Shelby County. And it's a lot, probably about 30 volunteers are part of this hub from all different areas of social support, community support. And we had two themes that we picked. One theme was to find a better way to get people the training they needed to either get to work or to, improve their work environment. The other thing that we picked was kind of been a common theme for a while, making sure that we have food access to everybody who needs food access. So one of the first things we did is in all three counties, as we developed a list of all the different food pantries, free meals, all the things that take place, like grow another row out in front of SCCO that takes place in the spring and the summer. We put all that information out on the HMS Hub website, and then each of our organizations are sharing it too, to try to get people aware. We then put in for a grant. This is the one I really like. Received the grant. So in each county over the next few months, we're going to have a presentation. Now it's going to be probably limited to 20 people to come, but the people who attend will receive a free air cooker to take home, because what we're finding was a lot of people were struggling with just having something to cook food with. Like, if their stove broke down, they just can't afford to fix it, or they can't replace their microwave or whatever it is. And we're just going to teach them how to use them and how to cook something, that's healthy and inexpensive. We're not going to be doing any filet mignon or anything like that. But we're really happy about that. We're really proud about that. So that'll be taking place throughout the three counties over the next couple of months. When the date here is set, I will I'll notify you and I'll notify the public. But it's actually been a good thing. Now, the next level of attention that we're going to give regarding food is, even though we have a lot of wonderful food pantries throughout our 3 counties, in certain communities, if you live there and you don't have transportation, it doesn't matter how many food pantries we have. It's not supporting you. So that's our next look. How can we set up volunteer networks? Do we do a, pick a day a month, kind of like the mobile food pantry, but instead of them coming to us, we come to them, something like that. So I'll keep you updated on that idea too, because I know we have a lot of folks out in those communities that could use some help. They just can't get to it. Yeah. So, all right, so that's it for me today.
Thanks,
Todd.
Todd. Kathy McLean. Kathy has a sludge problem.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I want to introduce, this is Dave Richardson from the Iowa Rural Water Association.
Hello.
So, he is actually here because I barely understand this. I did make copies for each of you. We recently went through an inspection, a routine inspection down at the Country Care Center from Iowa DNR. It's been several years since they had been there. I think it went very smoothly. One of the things we brought to her attention, the lady, the environmentalist, was that during one of our testing periods, we found sludge. In studying sludge, because I looked it up to see, how this happens, why it happens, when it happens. And according to what I read, that it can go years and years and years without sludge buildup in your lagoons. I did talk to the previous administrator, and she was there 32 years, and I've been there 20. So in 52 years, we haven't had sludge. I'm assuming prior to that, no. But what we've been assigned now is to complete a 5-year sludge removal plan. The city of Harlan has one, is my understanding. That is customary, right, David?
Every wastewater treatment facility is required, but a lot of times it's not enforced. It's just a plan, written plan, of what you're gonna do.
Mhm. And I did talk to Jules this morning again and just confirmed with her what we have to submit immediately or by our deadline is the plan. The sludge does not have to be removed. It's just the plan, that we have a plan in place. So that's what we need to work on. And so I do know that our operator that tests our lagoons and does all the work out there had talked to a company here in Iowa, Midwest Injection, about doing the work. And they suggested land application. So I guess that's what we're here. If you see in the outline I gave you, Dave wrote the plan. We have to give them coordinates and stuff like that. So that's basically what we need today is, or soon, is to be able to finish this plan by giving them coordinates if we're going to do land application. Land application in itself is expensive. The whole process is, but I think hauling it is worse, right? Is that what they would do, is haul?
Yeah, and usually they try to inject it in the soil right next door with like an umbilical cord kind of thing.
What is the R and A on this report?
Requirement and response, or answer.
Or answer, okay.
Yeah,
Requirement and
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
So this is a good fertilizer for the soil?
Well, a lagoon is really, it's like giving those fields a drink of water.
Okay.
Now, the city of Harlan's wastewater treatment plant, there's a lot of more nutrients in that waste,
Okay.
so it's more beneficial to the farmers. But it's got a little bit of nitrogen in it. We haven't tested it, I guess, but
Yeah.
usually lagoons just have a little bit of everything in it,
Okay.
which, it's,
Wouldn't be harmful though. Right. I mean,
no, it would,
benefit might be negligible, but it wouldn't do
Yeah, I mean, there's-
any harm.
they will test it for like lead and copper. There's like 8 metals that we'll test for, or that the lab will test for, like a fecal coliform, just to see how, what that number is. It's like 90% of the time it's just like a little drink of water with a lot of little bit of lead, little bit of copper, and that kind of stuff. And it all gets tested, and that's kind of why I'm here, is to make sure that, they follow the rules and they don't get into trouble.
Probably deposited in our field out there.
How long does that take? If once you decide to implement the plan, is it one season or is it over?
Yeah, it's within once we figure out where the land's at, and I'm sure it's right close. Make sure all the testing's been done, and if the pumper or Nutraject, whoever comes to town, gets set up, within a couple of days it'll be done.
Okay.
And usually if the fields are, I don't know if they're planted with crops, so they have to be done in the spring or fall, before it kind of freezes, or so there's a little timing thing there, but
And we rent that field out, so we probably have to
Put it in the rental.
put that into the rental agreement for next year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Type of thing, so, okay.
We need to talk about costs.
You were saying,
Well, there is cost to it and all. My initial plan, and especially since, we don't have to have everything done by May 1st, is to write a grant and apply for that. Of course, that is not guaranteed money, so it'll just be something we have to work out.
okay.
Any estimates? I mean, is this a $5,000 thing or $50,000 thing? or
66,000 is
$66,000?
the first estimate that we had, so it is pretty healthy.
From my experience too, the cost of the removal is anywhere from 5 to like 15 cents a gallon for the sludge. In my experience, you get what you pay for. The people that follow the rules and do a good job for you. And obviously Nutraject is probably is a better company. But just so you guys know, there's a lot of companies that do this, and you do get what you pay for. So, just use so
So
you're
say a
aware.
local hog confinement pump wouldn't work for this?
Some cities do that.
Okay.
In the last 6 years I've been doing this, a lot of small towns have had their sludge removed in several different methods. I've heard of one success story in 6 years.
Oh, really?
That they say, wow, they did a great job, and they kind of saved the day for us. And, I've heard a lot of them that say, it just didn't give us what we wanted.
Okay.
So the hog pumpers, the lagoon pumpers, they have different rules, so they don't speak our language on what we have to test for. And it's usually it's like, we gotta do this because
Okay.
whoever owns that lagoon is responsible for that sludge no matter what, even if you're paying them to get rid of it.
More regulations at the government level than there are for private landowners, I'm sure, too.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
and they're pretty simple, but they just, I find a lot of headbutting there, it can be done, don't get me wrong, but money is a big thing, so,
Yep.
you gotta decide that.
Well, hopefully your grant pans out. If not, we'll have to look into
We can
it.
talk.
Yeah.
Appreciate the heads up on it anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's coming.
And like you said, it's been years and years and years. It did say that sometimes you can go decades. Well, 52 years is decades.
Yeah, that's really what they're designed for.
Yeah.
They're ponds, and they're settling ponds. So they're gonna fill up, and once it gets to a certain point, they've reached their life expectancy and they need some maintenance, so.
Cheaper than building a new one.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Kat.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tim, do you want to see
All right, consider approval of alcohol license for DeGroot Enterprises LLC in the Shelby County Clubhouse.
That's a motion to approve.
Sandra here? I understand that the forms with the state have not all been processed and
No.
approved, so
So you can't,
I'm not going to second that unless we do one with, pending approval by the
I
state.
didn't know that.
What do you have there?
This is just the
application.
application
That's
printout.
the application.
So it
I
hasn't
checked
been
this
approved?
morning before the meetings.
Okay, so we should move it to the next meeting.
Well, I would make a motion to approve it pending approval by the state.
Oh,
If if those
I would
papers,
second that.
they're waiting on their insurance and that kind of information, that has to go through the state, not us, but I would approve, a motion to approve pending
Okay.
approval by the state.
We have a motion to approve this depending on state passing it.
Yes. so moved.
And I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports. Mike?
Fairly quiet couple of weeks here at the end of the month. Couple of meetings I attended regarding the Health and Human Services, which is undergoing a tremendous amount of change. It's going to go to one point administration soon, effective July 1st. Did a town hall online thing, then I went to the Southwest Iowa Region Mental Health and Disability Services meeting yesterday. They had to come up with a closeout plan to move everything from the region to the state, and then now they're going to go to districts. So that's still ongoing, and their director would like to come and speak to our board one of the next couple of meetings, so I'm going to coordinate with her when she can get here. So Suzanne Watson will be here to kind of update us in better terms than I can on what's being done. We should not see a significant impact. We still have case managers and assistants as it's been going. It'll just be a different access point.
We don't, we have to take over what they provide for Shelby County.
Yeah.
We lose our person.
The advocate would lose, right?
The, like,
Oh,
who
Suzanne-
they would
Suzanne will-
submit
Yeah.
stuff to, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suzanne will talk us through that, and that's why she wants to come in.
Okay.
So that hopefully will be next meeting. What else? Oh, there's a crisis intervention training June 9th through the 13th, and that is free to all first responders. That may be the last one of the year, because Southwest Iowa Region is the one that hosts those and pays for those. So they're going to be dissolved as of July 1st, so this might be the last chance to get in on that. So I would encourage anybody that wants to be trained further in crisis intervention to sign up for that. I will make sure Alex Londo has that information, and he can get that out to all of our fire departments and first responders. The ISAC legislative update, I don't know if you guys sit down on those on Friday mornings, but that's all about property tax reform. 90% of it is question and answer on those. A few other things, but it's all property tax reform driven. So that's what I've been up to the last couple of weeks.
Sure.
Well, I attended the SWPCO meeting last Thursday, and Terry Arnson retired, so that takes him off the board there. So we need to approve another person to take his place. Well, Ross Hastert has agreed to sit in for him. So all I need is I'd like to place his name in as nomination, and I would like that's my motion.
Okay.
So I need a vote on that.
A motion to approve Ross Haster to the SWPCO board.
Charlie's got the motion. I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's pretty much what I had to take care of.
Two of my boards and committees, they're going to give reports here. So Southwest Iowa Juvenile Detention Center in Council Bluffs, I'm on that board, and things are clicking along there nicely. So that's all we have today.
There's still juveniles that need detention,
We're
right?
still juvenile. Consideration of Public Safety Project Committee appointment. What's that?
Kyle.
Kyle, come on up.
Morning.
Morning, Kyle.
How are you morning today?
Good.
Apologize for the 23-hour desk job, but basically give you a little bit of here. In reference to the purpose of this committee, basically I'm requesting, just to go back to May of 23, our jail is, I guess basically inspected by the state chief jail inspector of the state of Iowa every year. Our building, it consists of being built in 1983. We're hitting the 43-year mark on our building and antiquated infrastructure. So back in 23, we were proposed that we need to start putting a 5 to 7 year plan together in reference to looking and exploring options of becoming any of the outdated, antiquated systems that we're currently running. So basically what this is as I'm enlisting or requesting the fact of the purpose of this committee, fellow people throughout the Shelby County, I guess, public safety, EMS, EMA, all this stuff, in reference to explore possibilities and looking to see, and like I said, I'm gonna put this out, this is very preliminary stages. I know there's been some public outcry on this, and there's been some public input. I'm referencing to see, are we looking at building a new building, or will we look at maybe possibly acquiring an existing building? So basically the purpose of this committee is to put forward together is to utilize, I'm just basically read the purpose of the committee of basically what I wrote this is that services built on integrity will lead our community-oriented safety missions. Building partnerships and effective communication within our community fortifies our accountability and strengthens our effectiveness. We will utilize partnerships, problem solving, and prevention models in serving the public and continuing to keep our communities safe. So the request is for the Public Safety Committee list personnel, as you guys can see, a representative of each entity within our public safety. There's also within Shelby County, also within the city of Harlan. So this would consist of a 13 panel board or committee, not a board, that would consist of, this would request and state like, Bryce Shelby is used as representative for the Shelby County Board of Supervisors. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office, Representative be Sheriff Neil Gross. The Shelby County Jail Division, myself as the jail administrator. Bringing in the EMA coordinator, Alex Londo, as well as the EMS Medical Services, the interim director, Jenny Thorson. Apologize, Jenny, if I mispronounce your last name. Shelby County Auditor, Budget Finance Auditor, Tara Knapp. Representatives of the city, from City Hall, be City Administrator Jarvis Maganja. City Hall was City Clerk Finance Director Ashley Schleiss. A representative from the governing body of the Harlan City Council would be Councilman Troy Shaben, and also the City of Harlan Fire Department Chief Roger Beeson. Having a wide variety of input and stuff in that regarding finances and stuff from different departments. And we would also open this up to 3 civilian committee members throughout the county. So throughout the county, anybody, obviously we don't have those listed now because we would be requesting and listing. Whether somebody was interested in sitting on that, they could reach out to any one of these committee members listed. Upon approval, I guess we'll start doing some publications. I may provide a copy of this to the paper as well. We have an email address that's been set up. It's going to be publicsafety@shelbycounty.io.gov, or they can reach out to any committee member on this. And I would assume probably one of the first committee meetings or second committee meetings, we would invite those people to come in and talk, and I don't know whether to make an applicant process or to see, because that way we can value input from the civilians as well too, because, you know, very preliminary stages. Basically, I just need to have the committee basically put forth together to start putting out some information and listing the help from other people. You know, our building is getting old. We've outgrown it. Anybody's more than welcome to come in and take a tour. I got to be careful as far as the jail aspect of it. But I mean, to see with the recent unification of the Harlan Police Department, we have deputies sitting on top of other desks. We have deputies sharing desks. We have an influx in jail personnel. Back in 1983, when the original jail was built, mental health and substance abuse wasn't necessarily a big thing. So 80% of the people that come through our door have some type of addiction, substance abuse problem, and as well as mental health. And we lack in the ability to protect those people. Actually, we're paying quite a bit out of county to house if we have a special needs, like in a padded room or things like that. So influx in crime, unfortunately, is one of those things that, you know, we can't control. So basically, I'm just looking for the approval. This is also going to be slated to the Harlan City Council tonight as well for the approval of the city members. Just wanted to have both governing bodies within the county and the city permission for representatives of those representatives to be on this particular committee to evaluate any further discussion going forward.
I would suggest those 3 open civilian committee members slots be filled with people outside of the city of Harlan, because we've got
Correct.
several
And that,
Harlan
that's why I
representatives
meant
here.
to
Yeah.
Yeah, the community, I would, yeah, in our rural communities in the country
Yeah.
as well too. So if anybody has any interest, you can reach out. You can call me at the sheriff's office, or you can email into that publicsafety@shelbycounty.iowa.gov for inquiries. And probably set that up for a generic question in box 2 as well. Like I said, this is very preliminary stages. This isn't saying we're doing this, we're doing that. It's just to get the discussion rolling, because I will have to provide, we'll have our state jail inspection coming up on May 8th. I will then provide our chief jail inspector, Delbert Longley, to say the fact that we formed a committee, we've started discussions, we're looking into this, discussions over the next 2-3 years, give or take, so.
Can I have a motion to approve this list of appointees to the Public Safety Project Committee?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Kyle.
Yep, thank you, I appreciate it.
Good luck.
You bet.
Department heads. Nick, you're right there. You want to come first?
How's Nick?
On a little lighter note, I think spring's here. People get out and camp and enjoy the outdoors. Kind of a summery shape here. The two there, so we got two.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, kind of tying into what Todd had reported. I guess I didn't add it on that sheet, but the golf course, we've been working with the golf course board on that FEMA money and just working through that process, helping them through it because it's kind of a daunting task. So, with their insurance money that they receive, they're trying to work out through all these FEMA things. So we've had a meeting about literally every week, trying to get them through. I think we're getting the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of have it narrowed down to what projects qualified and things like that. So there was a lot of insurance that covered the debris removal, but there wasn't insurance money in there to include for replanting the trees. So that's one of the things that they're lacking right now. I think they lost several hundred trees. It was a pretty bad deal with the tornado and emerald ash borer. So that's kind of like, they're like, well, let's just go ahead and get this renovated now since that's here. So I wrote the grant for the Shelby County Community Foundation. It was awarded $5,500 to replant some trees. So they have kind of like a tree committee put together on the north course. So they're kind of deciding which ones they're going to get, what size. A lot of that's going to depend on availability and things like that. So that was a good thing, I guess. And then there's some other avenues that they're working on they're not going to replace them all at once. They're going to try to phase them in because, once you plant a tree, you got to care for it. So, and kind of babysit it a little bit. But hunter safety was a pretty good success. I think we graduated 24 kids. That was on Saturday, so that was a good. We usually been having them in the spring since the fall. There's just so many of them available in the fall, and a lot of kids are like, oh shoot, my turkey hunting season's coming up. We need to go ahead and get our hunter education done. So we had a lot of volunteers that showed up to help with that, so that was good. And then kind of just getting busy right now, getting the parks ready, as we do every spring. So officially we're open April 15th. It's kind of a soft opening. It depends on how good the road conditions are. And we'll just keep our fingers crossed for no water leaks. Last year we had 3 water leaks, major water leaks, because you're dealing with plumbing from the 1970s, so you never know. Like there was a leak underneath the shop at Mantino, not the shop, but the old shower building. And we got to digging it up, and whoever installed it, they're actually using electrical conduit included. So it lasted that long, so that's good. So anyway, so you never know what kind of stuff you're going to run into when you crack the water open in the spring. And then a lot of branch cleanup, tree cleanup, getting the roads ready. So, technically our recreation season usually runs April 15th or October 15th. And so that's generally considered our recreation season. So kind of working on getting a skid loader going, and we kind of have a deal worked out at Nelson Farm Supply to trade in a John Deere 2150. That's an older tractor that we have sitting over at Elkhorn Park. We don't use a lot. It's nice when we do use it, but if we can, and this skid loader will be used for everything, literally. We need it to do a lot of construction projects and grade the roads, and mainly to remove a lot of invasive trees and shrubs that have been taken over. It's kind of like our park shouldn't be the seed hub for this invasive, going into adjacent landowners.
Yeah.
So it's a big problem.
Yeah, it's been long overdue to get a skid steer.
Yeah, we can use it literally daily.
A lot of good attachments for those.
Needs
So,
so much work done.
yeah, we're building a fence and putting in gates and different things.
So honeysuckle problem.
Yes.
So that's something we've been working through. And then dump station, there was an old dump station on the south side of Mantino that's been there for years. It was just a holding tank only. And then when we built the new sites on the north side, it's not real handy for the people on the north side. They have to drive around and kind of loop around and figure out how to get it. And then every time we have to pay to have that pumped because it doesn't have any laterals in it or anything. So we actually were able to get a permit to tie into our existing septic system on the north side. And so that's just about done. We have everything done. We're just going to wait for the weather to cooperate. We're going to build the actual box part, with that little lid that flips up and everything, get that constructed probably even this week. And then we kind of had to build a little access road to it where you can pull off to the side so you're not sitting in the middle of the road. And so that road's a little soft still. We're going to add some rock to that when it firms up a bit. But we're trying to get that kind of wrapped up. And then burning, kind of started doing some burning. Yesterday we burned off that mitigation bank in Erling, which is that joint venture between us and Erling. And got that burned off yesterday. We have one scheduled, I think kind of tentatively scheduled for the public to have on Monday, this coming Monday, for the Dynasty Prairie burn. We usually burn the north half and then the south half and kind of alternate each year back and forth. So it'll be the north half and that will be at dusk on this coming Monday. So weather permitting. Usually 50% of the time we can do it, and you just never know with the wind in the spring. So and then we burned about 9 areas last year, so we don't have a ton on our list this year to do, but we do need to kind of, if we have time, to do Oak Ridge up there, because that hasn't been burned since 2021. So we try to do it every 2-3 years just to keep it healthy and happy. Reduce some of the brome is mainly what we're trying to do when you kind of do the burn when the brome is at a 2-leaf stage, and it kind of knocks it back and helps it, really invigorates the prairie for the wildlife. And then speaking of the mitigation bank, I guess the DOT is typically the primary purchaser of those credits that we sell. And so they were kind of hamstringed with some rules and regulations that they had within their own administrative rules, where they couldn't buy mitigation credits from public banks, and there's 6 or 7 of them across the state. And so as a group, we've been trying to lobby them and say, hey, you need to get your administrative rules changed so you can purchase those credits from public banks, because they do a lot of construction projects that impact streams where they need to purchase these credits. So they did change their administrative rules. However, they do have to send that up the chain to the Des Moines, to the House and Senate. So who knows, when they'll pick it up, because they're busy on all sorts of other crusades. So I don't know about that, but at least they got it in. They got it done on their end. So hopefully we'll start seeing some. I mean, we have some other bigger projects, so we're still waiting to hear back to hopefully get these credits sold, so we can pay back Chris and then get our department restocked. Because we dug into our reserve like $180,000. We dug the whole thing out. So we need to get recovered from that. And also the city of Erling. I mean, they're 25% partners, so they're in the same boat. So anyway, in the meantime, we're just doing what we can to manage the bank and make sure that it's in good, healthy condition. We've got some spraying to do, probably maybe even reseed some areas, and then that burn kind of helped too. So we're just going to do that burn and kind of see how it looks once it sprouts up. And then the beaver bounty thing, they kind of slowed down here recently, so I don't know, we're at 164 out of 320. So, and that ends, basically, the trapping season ends on April 15th, so we kind of run it to like April 16th to give them chances to bring it in at the end of the day on the 16th. And then if they need a form, they can, I know the county's kind of redoing some website changes, but they should be able to download the form off of the website, or they can contact me and I'll get it to them. But most of the people that have been doing this in the past already have the forms. And then Christina, with her programming with the DNR, has been very busy doing a lot of women's events and things like that with the DNR. And then on our end of things, she's been doing a lot of things in the classrooms, and then springtime, different classes and stuff. But the biggest thing that'll be coming up is field trips. April and May, just literally every day.
Do you know if Christina has a list of her programs on the county website? I haven't looked at it.
Typically, she has a syllabus that she'll give to the schools, and then the teachers kind of email her and start sign up for different time slots.
I'm talking about for like this summer. I know she does things out of Prairie Rose and
That's a good
Mission
question. I'll have to
abandoned, those
mention
kind of
that to
places
her.
would be a good
Yeah.
place to put those.
Yeah, good idea.
I know she
I'll
has the
mention
list
it.
somewhere, I've seen it come through.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know where.
typically she'll put them on either the DNR, the Friends of Prairie Rose, or our website, or the Facebook pages, but yeah, maybe that'd be something we could integrate it into
that, I
the,
think.
yeah, that'd be
She
good.
does a lot.
That'd be a good time to do it since we're renovating the websites and stuff for our page. It'd be a good time to, because, yeah, Austin was asking what all we wanted to put on there. And a lot of our stuff kind of points to mycountyparks.com, but her programming wouldn't necessarily, so that'd be a good place to kind of keep people informed, so.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Get the mowers ready.
Thank you.
Jenny, would you like to give a report? Jenny is our interim EMS director.
Give you a quick update. We've had about 130 some calls for the month. We've been really busy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Setting up interviews for the part-time position for EMTs. I've had one interview. Supposed to have one today, but she's rescheduling. That's no problem. So we do have some applicants applying.
Great.
Any good ones?
They're pretty green, pretty
determined.
new EMTs. So I mean, I will accept anything because anything well-trained, you know, and we can train
Everybody
them.
had to start somewhere. So.
That's right. April 25th, we are going to do a food drive, kind of stuff the ambulance at Fairway. It will be from 10 to 4 if anybody wants to get the word out.
Great.
I think last time we did it at Hy-Vee, we got like 2,000 pounds of food. So,
Wow, awesome.
yeah. We've already talked to the food pantry and they're
Excited.
excited. Yeah. Other than that, I think everything's been going pretty good.
We've got applications coming in for the permanent EMS director. We have 3 applicants. They're all very good.
Good.
Be doing our interviews very soon, and Jenny might go back to being a paramedic.
Yeah, right.
She did not apply, so.
No, I did not. No.
We really appreciate what you've done and cutting back on the overtime and
Yeah.
holding down the fort. So,
Trying.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all
Thank
I
you.
got. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Any other department heads? Okay, consider approval of resolution 2025-14 setting the date for budget hearing and publication. Tara.
This resolution will set the hearing time and date, recommended April 22nd at 9 a.m. to adopt the final budget.
Further discussion?
22nd.
That'll be the final reading. Okay.
Yeah, this will be the final budget meeting.
Okay, I've got a Board of Health meeting at 7, no, it's 7 p.m. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve resolution 2025-14?
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration of custodian wages. Penny is retiring.
I don't even know what she makes anymore.
But you were about to find out.
Yeah, I think so.
So there's no separate custodial wage currently.
No.
It's tied in with clerical.
Mhm.
So I think it's between 16 and 17 is starting wage
Mhm.
right now. I recommend the starting pay for custodian to be $20 an hour.
I agree, we need to,
Looking at other counties, that's still, that's average compared to our
And
size.
they're just in-house, they're not the grounds, do they do?
So they do the courthouse, all 3 levels, the sheriff's office, emergency management, jail, and the main building at secondary roads. There's set days during the week, so they don't do all 3 buildings every day. They may they
But they
do.
don't do any mowing or?
No,
We have
no yard maintenance,
we have
minimal,
a
maybe
person contracted to do that.
leaves or ice melt or something.
Yeah, I mean, $20 an hour is a normal figure right now, I would think, so.
Is that full-time
Full-time.
with benefits?
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I mean, this day and age, it's not what it takes to get somebody to switch jobs.
Yeah,
If you want anybody decent.
yeah, that's just it. We have a motion to approve the custodian wages.
Motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Consider approval of authorizing the GIS director to sign the professional service agreement with Schneider Geospatial LLC.
This is our Schneider services, so they have our beacon services and staff augmentation. This new one would limit the on-site days. We have 24 on-site days. It would limit it to 12, which they're looking to limit on-site days going forward to save money on their end. But also this is going to offset the increase of our new contract that they proposed. So there's a couple added services within this new contract, but also limiting the on-site days.
How much money will that save? What was the increase going to be if we do this? How much will it save us?
Cutting the,
What the new contract would have been?
I don't know that they have that in this one.
Was it significant?
I think it was like 5,000 to 8,000. I can't remember the set number.
I'm assuming we don't really have a choice as to how many on-site days. They're just going to make it 12. I mean, we can't say, nope, we want 24.
We have 24.
Yeah. I mean, with this new contract, it's not an option to keep 24.
We could keep 24.
Oh, do we need it?
No.
This is my question. Okay.
No, we still have what they call flex hours, so they work off-site,
Okay.
which that works for us. And then the on-site days, they'll visit with us, City of Harlan, HMU.
That's just to update the beacon.
That, the on-site days, I know like with HMU, they may work on utility projects, so they actually have it set up where all the utilities are mapped out in the City of Harlan.
Okay.
So that would be something they could get the data here and then do off-site flex hours. So they still have those services, but they
What
would.
was the other piece you said, something about employee? There's two things.
Staff
they did.
augmentation.
What is that?
That is them being here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then flex hours is their off-site hours.
And so then the amount that we pay them would stay the same? Is that what the proposal is?
It would still increase, but this would lessen the increase. And then City of Harlan, HMU, and assessor also pay into this service.
Any further discussion?
Sounds like the best possible deal. We've got options on, right?
Yeah, and I mean, what we pay for our contract is less. We were one of the first counties to sign with them, so we also have that valued customer pricing in there.
Somehow it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna show up half the time and we won't charge you that much more. But I guess
They do.
that's what we've got.
Yeah. We have a motion to approve the
Yeah.
GIS director to sign the professional service agreement with
I'll make
Schneider's.
that motion.
I'll second. We don't have action item on the agenda, do we? Can we do that without that on the agenda?
We should have had it on there. Maybe not the one I printed.
If we can do it, I'm okay with it. Just make sure that. Was it-
That one.
Yeah, that's
When I
okay. Okay,
posted.
yeah. You told me it was the same.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.